Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is a project we're going to be making today. It is a cute little window box with sweeties inside, and there are windows on 3 of the corners, not the back. And no, it's not one piece of window sheet, that's 3 separate ones. So I'm just going to move the sugar out of the way because the boys have investigated that box quite frequently. And what I do want to say, because today is Monday the 15th of February, and this is the day that 3 of our free celebration products are retiring. And that is the Hello stamp set, the Sky's the Limit, and this is the Perfectly Artistic Designer Series paper. Now, you saw me use this one the other week. These 3, today is the last day that you can get these for free. There are 3 new products coming, and I'm going to reach in and show you. Pretty glitter tape, and then 2 stamp sets, which are underneath the pile of stuff. That one, and this one, and these are, you can get these from tomorrow for free for the last 6 weeks of celebration. But if you've had your eye on these, and I know that the Sky's the Limit has been so popular, today's the last day that you can qualify for those. And how to qualify? Spend £45 or €60 through me in my shop and choose one of these for free. If you spend £90 or €120, you can choose 2, and so on. So it's cumulative. But these 3, last day today, last day. Anyway, right, wanted to do that while I remembered. Not normally that organised, but today I am. Okay, so my little box here. So it's got sweeties in it, and these are, they've got a little bit of blackcurrant colour in the background. They are licorice and aniseed. But I'm going to be doing one with some cola drops in, and they're this colour. So the paper that I'm going to use is this one, and it's gorgeous. It is called Farmer's Market. And that's the one which has got all the apples and pears and stuff like that. But these are the other patterns, and they're lovely. And all you need is a piece of paper that is 6 by 6 inches, so 15 by 15 centimetres, which means you can use your DSP stacks if you want. I'm quite deliberate in my sizing. Okay, so we'll do the score lines of this first, and then we'll come on to the window part. So on the first side, score it at 1 3/8 of an inch, 2 3/4, 4 1/8 of an inch, and 5 1/2 inches. And in metric, that's 3 1/2, 7, 10 1/2, and 14. Turn it round and score it at 1 3/8 of an inch. Then score it at 4 5/8 of an inch and 5 5/8 of an inch, which in metric is 3 1/2, 11 1/2, and 14 centimetres. So let's just move that out of the way and fold and burnish your score lines. We need to do this early on. There's my scoring tool. Oops. Let's just beat the project up. Isn't the paper gorgeous? It's got very vanilla in the background, and you know, the plums or whatever they are in the set, that doesn't do it for me, but I love all of these. I love all of the other patterns. They're so lush. And I can't see at all what I'm doing because I've got spots and I've got stripes, and I'm a bit blind, I think, because I can't see which bits. I can't see my lines. Oh look, I've missed one. Oh dear. Okay. Right, so, oh gosh, which side are you going to see? Okay, so I've got 4 score lines going around there, and that is the side of the box, so that's that way round. And I have got 1, which is the base, and then I've got 2, which are the top, and yes, Fennel shouting. The 2 at the top, so that is the top of the box. Down at the bottom we need to get rid of the thin rectangle and then cut up those lines, so grab my scissors. And if I show you this part first, it is much easier for them when you want to punch your holes in. Because at least you can see where you're going. Always useful. So let me just hover that for a second. So this is the top, so you've got 2 score lines there, you've got 1 there, and all of these are separated. Okay, right, now we're going to punch our holes in, these ones in. And I've got my scallop oval and I've got my large oval, because these nest, I've got the wrong one. That's the large oval. So the scallop oval and the large oval, so those nest perfectly together. This is the one we want first, and what you're going to do is you're going to punch around 3 holes. So take the skinny bit, that's going to be the back, and you want to punch the other ones. So that one, so not next to the skinny bit, but the one the first score line away from it and just eyeball roughly half in the middle of the punch, and also so you've got equidistant. I can see I've got a score line just there and I've got one there. One of those, and then come round and do this one in exactly the same way. And then the last one. So there we go. So there's my 3 holes. So essentially they're in the middle, and it will fold round and you'll have those lines there. I want to do the scallop edging first because I want that to dry with the glue before I start putting window sheets in. So the way to make your oval, I'm just getting my glue, is you punch your inner part first. So, and I'm going to leave quite a border around, or quite a gap, so I've got plenty of room. So you cut your hole first, and then you put your scallop border around it, so that you know you're going equidistant. So that's how you create those. I want to stick these to this so that, like I say, it's got time to dry. And I've got my fine tip glue pen, which we didn't have the last time that I did, you know, I did these sort of little frames, and it's really good. This is it really is a super fine tip to it, and it's so fine that there's a needle. You can probably, there you go. There's a needle there that goes down the end of this stupidly tiny hole, and it means that you can, you know, waft quite a bit of glue on, or not a lot of glue. You can waft easily without having to do your dab, dab, dab motions. I'm going to pick that up and just lay it over the hole that I punched. And that will dry. It should hopefully have plenty of time to dry while I fiddle with the window sheet part. That's my 3rd one. I was obviously not quite central when I punched my holes out, but it's okay. You could use a template if you wanted to make sure you were exactly in the right place. Oh, she's very noisy. She's confused because I've got new sofas and a new bed, and she's like, "What's going on, Mum?" She's like, "There's all these changes in my house." She was very funny when the first time I had the sofas, and she was like, "What are these? They don't feel right." Okay, so I'm going to put that off to one side to dry, to let that dry. Oh, and I need my glasses to be able to put the lid back on because you need to get the hole down the end of it. But what I've got over here are my 3 pieces of window sheet, and I felt it easier to cut smaller pieces and fold those in half rather than get one big sheet and try and do scoring and all that sort of stuff. So these measure 3 inches long by 1 1/8 of an inch wide, which is 7.5 centimetres long by 3 centimetres wide. And you take the thin end of your scoring tool, I hope you can see that, move those out of the way, and just go roughly at the 1/2 inch mark. It's not going to be exactly in half. I didn't want to make it 1.25 inches, because that would be too wide, and it would overlap, each piece would overlap. So I went slightly less, so, you know, at about 1/2 inch mark, so at about 1.5 centimetres, just score down. You have to go over it a couple of times because window sheets, these are much thicker than regular acetate you'd use in card making, and they don't like to be told what to do. So I'm just, oh look, I've just put a depression in my finger. So I've put it quite hard. Okay, so fold them in half and just give them a bit of a, you know, just a rough burnish over. You don't need it to be completely flat. You do want a little bit of bend there because they're obviously going to go inside a box, but we don't want it to distort the shape of the box. Okay, there's those 3 done, and I'm now going to get my mini glue dots because we don't want the glue obviously to show. So if you put a mini glue dot in the top corner, or in all of the corners, where can you see that? There, in all of the top corners, or all of the corners I should say, then it will stick your window sheet to your box but not be on display. There's one. trust me, this is, it looks like the slower process, but actually it was way less complicated than trying to do one sheet and then put 3 bends in that and then get it so it lined up, your score lines lined up perfectly with the box. This was just so much easier. Okay, so my little oval frames are sort of bending nicely. There we go. So now you're just going to line these up. Now I don't know how well you're seeing the score lines. I can see them, and you line up the centre score line, match one side up, and then bring the paper to the window. So there we go, so that's lined up. Again, I'm going to line up my centre lines, stick one side down and bring the paper to the glue dots. And that's that one stuck. And then the final one, and obviously because it's window sheet, it's trying to close itself down. And line it up. And there are all of my windows in. They're all in, they're all lined up straight. You can see they follow the lines down. And now I'm just going to close the box up. So, okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive down here. I can't get the box, it's not going to let me open itself up now. Okay, fast fuse, because I like to do things speedily. And because it's trying to stay open, it's although the measurements are exactly the same, it's not easy to lie it flat on your workspace. So there we go. Line that up, and what I found is if I just give it a bit of a burnish, those windows know exactly who's boss. Me. Okay, so I've lost the back of the box. That's the back. So fold in your sides and your back, and then this is the front. So pop that in, and then grab your sweeties, which, as I said, my cola drops, which do not want to come. Oh, a load of sugar came out. Look, they're stuck. Oh, it's because they're all stuck together. There we go. There you go. Oh, a few left over for, you know, for the demonstrator, obviously. And then just pinch in your sides at the top. There we go. And that extra score line we put in there, use it as a guide to punch some holes in, and just punch them near to the outer corner. And then, where's my twine? I've got some baker's twine here. That's going to be the front because that's the centre one. And so just start going in. And stitching it through. And in and out, you know, all the way around. Oh, that's going to come untangled, isn't it? And just keep going through. And trimming it off because you've made it all wibbly. And actually I think this is going to pull through in a slightly different way to the other one. That's okay, we don't mind the change. Yes, because I've got all these are all stitched on the inside. How have I managed to do that differently? I don't know. It's a sort of lacing effect. And yes, it's taking longer than I normally do, but it's such a cute project, isn't it? So, oh. Nearly done. And there we go. So you just pull it through and it will sort of lace itself closed. It will do. It did for me. Oh, it's not going to do it now. There we go. We'll just pretend it's laced through, because otherwise we're going to be here for the next hour while I fumble around with this. So we'll just lace it through and it pinches up and closes nicely. Get to the end of a 15-minute video. I've put the lacing on the wrong side. We'll just, you know, let's just make a pretty bow and clamp it, because I've put the lacing through on the wrong side. Oh, how dim am I? That dim today. I've laced on the inside instead of the outside. Fun and games. Lace on the outside, you see what I've done. Anyway, you get the point. I'll make sure it's pretty in the pictures, but, you know, we leave our bloopers in because I'm real. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope to hear from you very soon. Please don't all give me loads of thumbs downs for this. I'm real. I'll sort that out. Anyway, thank you ever so much and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.